has the imprint of the Buddha's relics.
Right.
This is the one I have. That even since the relics came to our home in 2010, 10 years later, it is still fully imprinted.
Wow.
And I think it's because it's connected and tangled, to use a physics term, with the original relics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not separate anymore.
Right.
This is my, you might say, artificial relic, okay? It's my Henry Ford type, but... So here's the other thing. How stable is these items, right? The Buddha's relics are still with us 2,600 years later.
Wow.
And multiplying. Tiller's device actually is like more than a year now, okay? Mm-hmm. At that time, he said, Nisha, for sure, our devices hold the imprint for more than 6 months. We can do experiments on them. Mm-hmm. We can change the pH of water. We can change the human enzyme alkaline phosphatase. We can make new, happier fruit flies. We can do all of these things. So it comes down to the physical vacuum is the link. Excuse me. Is the link from the material things to the immaterial things, that the potential of creating new things, new architecture, the foundations have to rest in the space. And Tiller found that there is an inverse symmetry. On the upper left is classical physical reality, or direct space, D space as he calls it. And it has a mirror symmetry to the R space, reciprocal space, the mind domain substance, information. That's why you see these wiggly lines. And that's actually more solid than this little dotted house. I put a home, as an example. And it's an inverse mirror reality, okay? And that's why this dotted line is a mirror. You fold itself, it's a mirror symmetry reality. And the more solid reality is reciprocal space. It is more powerful, more energetic, more transformational. That is what changes. This home will change this little dotted thing. You can repair things. And this has happened. Okay. You can wish your broken TV remote well. Reciprocal space is the blueprint of reality. Wow. And look around you, okay? Look around the home across your street, the lamppost, the window, all of this that you see in direct space has its correlate in our space. Think about it. My glass is in our space. So when we talk about space, we have to think in gauge symmetries. I know we have not talked about it. We'll take forever we'll have a week-long conference. But the gauge symmetry are just, a physics nomenclature to describe space, okay? And space is where the force fields exist. And force fields are important for physics because it obeys a conservation law. Everything that physics is, or Tiller's physics does, obeys the natural and universal laws. We're just going into a higher dimensional space, and the physics laws obey that. Okay? We look at it as though it's magic, but it's really higher physics, and it still obeys the laws. So this is where I think, Carol, you and I talked earlier before we got on the call, is that, and this is what Dr. Tiller and Jean did, a very fun experiment. I'll explain this in a moment. Tiller and Jean says, okay, we can really change the physics lab and make water behave in a very specific direction. Can we do this in Arizona, in our Scottsdale home, and regulate the interior temperature of our home?
Oh, yes, this is so
okay.
Good. Yeah.
And so they imprinted a device to hold the interior temperature of their home at 72 degrees throughout the year. And he says, Nisha, we saved on our energy bills.
Yeah, I bet.
I thought, oh, this is fantastic. So this is the UED experiment that your people can do, or you can imprint a crystal. You can imprint things. I mean, the device is useful. There's no question about it. They can buy one from the Tiller Institute. You need a lot of meditation practice to be able to do that. Okay,
Right.
I just want you to know.
Right.
Another way some people have used the device, just to give you an idea, is that I gave a opening lecture, or it was during the launch of my book in Hamline University in St. Paul. And it was hosted by Master Chunyi Lin. He's a Qigong master. And a lot of the audience know about these subtle energies. They were very interested in my work as an MD, and, working with subtle energies with Chunyi Lin. Wow, maybe we'll learn something.
Right.
And some of these folks came up to me and said, when we do Qigong as a group, could we capture that amazing energy and information in our room into a device and use it? I said, bingo, you got it.
Exactly.
Because once you're having a group dynamic, it's very multiplied.
Right.
Tiller, you often has 2 or 4 people in that table, right? So I think you can do one person, but it's hard. If you have a group, you really pump it up. And Tiller says, we're creating sacred spaces all the time. We're creating them, and then we come back the next day, we pump it up. We come back the third day, we pump it up more and more and more and more. And that's how sacred spaces are created.
Well, you have the observer effect, and then if it's just an individual, the difference with the group observer effect, it's a whole different dynamic.
Oh, yeah.